Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South, and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the NFC South is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable divisions in the entire league heading into the 2025 season. When you look at the history of this division, it's always been competitive. But recently, it's been dominated by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, especially after their Super Bowl win a few years back. However, this upcoming season, everything seems to be wide open. The Falcons, after finishing with an 8-9 record last year, are eyeing a serious comeback, and there's a lot of buzz around what they could do to elevate their game to the next level. That record might seem modest, but for Atlanta, it was a clear sign of progress. They were knocking on the playoff door, and honestly, if a few plays had gone their way, they could have been in the postseason. The team showed resilience, and now, with some key additions and a new approach, they're determined to take that next step and finally get over the hump. Now, let's talk about the quarterback situation, because that's always the focal point of any team's success or failure. The Falcons have handed the reins over to Michael Penix Jr., their promising second-year quarterback, who showed flashes of brilliance last season. Penix, coming from Indiana University, showed that he has the arm talent, the mobility, and the leadership qualities to be a franchise quarterback. But of course, he's still young, still growing, and the team needs to support him with a roster that can help him thrive. The offensive line has improved, and the receiving core, led by Drake London and Kyle Pitts, is looking solid, with some exciting young talent developing. Still, the defense has been a bit of a concern at times, especially in the secondary, which is why many fans and analysts are watching closely to see how Atlanta plans to bolster that area. And that brings us to one of the biggest topics swirling around the Falcons lately: what they might do at cornerback. Because in today's NFL, having a lockdown corner can be the difference between a good defense and a great one. Last season, the Falcons' secondary struggled at times, especially against top-tier passing attacks. Improving that unit is a priority, and the team has been linked to some notable names on the free agent market. One of those names is Jaire Alexander, a two-time Pro Bowler who was recently released by Green Bay. Alexander, despite dealing with injuries in recent seasons, remains one of the most talented cornerbacks in the league when healthy. His ability to shadow the opponent's best receiver, combined with his quickness and ball skills, makes him a game-changer. The question is, could Atlanta bring him in on a short-term deal? That's what many insiders speculate. Now let's pause here for a moment. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Because, folks, if Atlanta can get Alexander on a prove-it-one-year deal, it could be a steal. He's coming off injuries, yes, but the talent is undeniable. Last season with Green Bay, in the limited games he played, Alexander recorded 16 tackles, 2 interceptions, a fumble recovery, a defensive touchdown, and 7 passes defended. That kind of production, if he's fully healthy, could immediately upgrade Atlanta's secondary and provide the leadership and playmaking ability they desperately need. Plus, the team's defensive coordinator has emphasized that adding versatile, ball-hawking cornerbacks is a priority, especially as they look to improve their pass rush and create more turnovers. The Falcons' defense has been a work in progress. Last year, they finished in the middle of the league in pass defense, but they lacked the shutdown presence that can truly tilt the field in their favor. Jaire Alexander, if healthy, could be that piece. The Falcons are a team that's still building, still developing, but with the right moves, they could become a real force in this division. And honestly, the NFC South has been wide open for a while now. The Buccaneers, with their veteran-laden roster, still seem to be the favorites in many eyes. But the Falcons are right behind them, hungry and motivated. They've got young talent, a solid coaching staff led by Arthur Smith, who's proven he can develop quarterbacks and build competitive teams, and now, with a few key acquisitions, they could become the division's team to watch. The draft was also a significant part of their offseason strategy. Atlanta used their picks wisely, focusing on offensive line depth and adding versatile defensive players. The team's front office clearly understands that to compete at the highest level, they need a balanced roster, with a strong offense and a defense that can hold up against the league's best. Addition of a player like Jaire Alexander could be the missing piece, especially if they can get him on a favorable deal. His experience, leadership, and playmaking ability could give Atlanta that extra edge they've been searching for. And speaking of the division, it's worth noting how the NFC South has evolved over the last few seasons. The Saints, with their retooling, are trying to find their footing after losing some key players. The Panthers are in a rebuild mode, banking on young talent and promising rookies. The Buccaneers, despite their age and some questions about their roster depth, still have a Super Bowl window if they stay healthy. But Atlanta is the team that's quietly rising, building from within, and trying to re-establish itself as a perennial playoff contender. The excitement among fans is palpable, and the energy around the team's potential resurgence is contagious. Now, let's also consider the broader picture. The NFL is changing, with more emphasis on passing, speed, and versatile defenses. Teams that can lock down receivers and force turnovers are the ones who typically succeed in December and January. Atlanta's front office seems to understand that, and they're looking for ways to adapt. Whether it's through smart free agent signings like Alexander or developing their young core, the Falcons are positioning themselves to be more than just a team trying to sneak into the playoffs. They want to be a serious contender. And one thing is clear, the division rivals are feeling the heat. The Bucs, who have dominated for a few years, now see a team in Atlanta that's ready to challenge them. The Panthers and Saints, meanwhile, are watching closely, knowing that the Falcons aren't just a team to watch, they're a team to beat if they get the right pieces in place. The NFC South could be one of the most competitive divisions this upcoming season, and Atlanta's potential move to add a player of Alexander's caliber could be the catalyst that shifts the balance of power. Looking ahead, fans are eager to see how the Falcons' roster shapes up during training camp. Will they sign that big-name corner? Will Penix Jaire take that leap into superstardom? How will their defense perform against high-power defenses like the Eagles or the 49ers? These are the questions that are fueling the excitement. And of course, the draft and free agency will play a huge role in determining exactly how competitive Atlanta will be in 2025. The team's front office has shown that they're aggressive and strategic, and fans are hopeful that this offseason will be remembered as the turning point for a franchise eager to bring home another Super Bowl. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that this season is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing in recent memory for Atlanta Falcons fans. The potential addition of a player like Jaire Alexander isn't just about filling a roster spot. It's about sending a message that Atlanta is serious about contending now. It's about building a team that can compete with the best and finally bring that championship back to Georgia. The energy is high, the expectations are rising, and the fans are more excited than ever. So buckle up, Falcons fans, because this season is going to be a wild ride. The NFC South is heating up, and Atlanta is ready to make some serious noise. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. Do you believe that signing a player like Jaire Alexander could be the key piece? Are you confident in Penix Jaire taking that next step? Or do you think the Falcons need to focus on other areas? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear them. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Whether it's roster moves, game previews, or deep dives into player performances, we've got you covered. Thanks for being here, and remember, go Falcons!